this video, we are going to this Restore Rack thrift store 4 weeks in a row for a whole month to see what kind of video games we can find. So enough talking, let's get into the store. I just parked and pulled up to this Restore Rack for the first time this month, so let's go ahead and head in there and see what we can end up finding. So I made my way into the Restore Rack thrift store for the first time this month, and I made my way to the electronics section just to see if this was kind of the place I wanted to try and find some video games or something related to that. So I looked around for a little bit there, trying to find something that was worth it. I did find a Wii Fit board, but for 10 bucks, that's obviously not worth it, and no one's really interested in that. Then I went to these little bags where sometimes I can find plush in them, and I found this little Pikachu plush head looking thing, but it was 4 bucks and there was nothing else in this bag that was worth it, and I didn't really need it, so I left it behind. Then I made my way over to the game section here, where I found this Xbox Arcade Live game, then a few other games that weren't really worth it there. And then I made my way to where all the other games were. I kind of looked through here a little bit to try to see if I could find anything, but ultimately I didn't end up finding anything up there. Then down below I found a few more games, but unfortunately I didn't end up finding anything the first week, which is kind of a bummer, but that's perfectly okay. There's plenty of times I go into this thrift store and don't find anything, and the very next week I wander in and find some good stuff. So let's see what we can find for week 2. I just pulled into the Restore Rack thrift store. We didn't find anything for week 1, so let's go ahead and head in there and see if we can find anything this time. So I headed into the Restore Rack here for week 2. Again, I think I'm going to start going to the electronics section first. Usually if I don't find anything, I don't show you, but I want to show you that I'm going to all the sections in the store where I can actually find things that are video game related. I didn't find anything back there, so I made my way to the game section here, where I looked through here for a little bit, and that is when I ended up finding this Star Wars Squadron game for the Xbox One, as well as a Forza Horizon 5, and even this another Garden Warfare Plants vs. Zombies game for the Xbox One. It's kind of interesting seeing 3 Xbox One games, considering last week there was nothing, so that definitely made this worth it. I didn't end up getting all 3 of these though, but you'll see that in a second. But I was looking through on the other side, and that's when I found this bag of discs, which was absolutely ridiculous, for $5. As you can see, I can see that Halo Reach on the top, and I'm like, oh, that piqued my interest. Then I kind of looked through it a little bit. I couldn't really see much here, so unfortunately I looked at it a little bit, but ultimately I ended up getting these games here. All of these were definitely well worth it, so I went ahead and grabbed all of these. Now, I didn't end up showing you this weird wakeboarding game. I saw this on the PlayStation 2, and they wanted 4 bucks for it complete. And anytime I find games that I don't see very often, especially interesting ones that look kind of weird, I grabbed them for 4 bucks. That was definitely worth it there. And then I went ahead and grabbed those 2 Xbox One games. I put the Plants vs. Zombies game back. I did, however, end up getting Star Wars Squadron and Forza Motorsport 5 there. Both of those were 5 bucks each, which is a pretty good deal. And then last but not least is that loose disc lot here. I ended up paying $4.98 for this. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what was in it. All right, so I've got the bag here. Let's go ahead and open it up. I've got my phone here as well. So let's go ahead and see what all is actually in this, and if this was even worth the $5 for these loose discs. I feel like it's gonna be, but we'll just have to see and open this bad boy up. Starting off, as you can see, we've got a Modern Warfare 4, Call of Duty 4, blah, blah, blah. That one's okay. Then we've got a Call of Duty Black Ops, which is also okay. Red Dead Redemption is pretty awesome. I think that is an awesome game. Then we've got Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which is a pretty all of these games so far are probably worth $1 or $2. Then we've got Star Wars Unleashed here for the Xbox 360. Ooh, a copy of Halo 2 for the Xbox original. This is actually not what I thought it was, so I'm going to set that aside. All the rest are Xbox 360 so far. I kind of want to keep them in stacks. Then we've got Red Dead Redemption Disc 2, which I'm going to leave to the side because I'd like to see if we've got the first disc for that. Then we've got Guitar Hero, which is absolutely awesome. I'm going to go ahead and flip this stack over here. And there we've got Halo Reach, which is obviously awesome, and we could see that right off the bat. Then we've got Battlefield 3. This is just the first disc. So again, I'm going to kind of set that to the side and see if we can find discs that go with those. Then we've got Gears of War 3, which is absolutely awesome for the Xbox 360, as well as Guitar Hero World Tour there. Then we've got another Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but this is actually for the Xbox 360. Then it looks like we've got both discs for Battlefield 3. We've got the first disc and the second disc there. And what collection is missing a Skyrim? If you've got an Xbox 360 collection, you're going to have a copy of Skyrim. Ooh, okay. We've got a copy of Left 4 Dead 2. This game is actually worth a lot of money. I'll show you everything at the end once I total all this up, but I think this game right here is worth like $30 loose, so that's absolutely crazy. And then last but not least, we've got a Halo 4, just the first disc, which means these 3 discs are pretty much basically useless unless you have another copy, and then all the rest are games that we can resurface and all that. And what I'll probably do, some of these are rough. I have a resurfacer, so I'll resurface all of these. But right now on the screen, I'm going to put how much all of these are worth according to price charting. And honestly, I am shocked just because Left 4 Dead 2 was worth so much money. It really, really was absolutely crazy and made us some money if I'm going to sell it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I already have a copy of it, so maybe I'll try to trade it or try to trade the slot. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but definitely for $5, this was well worth it. I just pulled into the parking lot of the Restore Rack for the 3rd week in a row, so let's head into there and see if we can find anything that's video game related. So for the 3rd week in a row this month, I went into this Restore Rack, and they actually redid the windows, which was kind of cool to see. But I made my way over to the electronics section where I thought that was something that was video game related, but it ended up not being. I looked around for a little bit more, and that's when I came across the mugs, where I found this Pikachu mug for only $1.99, and then I made my way to the game section, which has sadly been pretty much wiped out. Now, honestly, there wasn't really anything good here, except I did end up picking up that little cute little Pikachu mug here. This was only $1.99, so I was already here and I figured I would pick this up. I think I'll probably end up keeping this. I'm interested to see if it will stay together. It looks like there's a bunch of cracking here, but for $2, I figured, for the sake of the video, let's go ahead and grab this thing, because otherwise we wouldn't have found anything in week 3. So when I saw this, I was like, all right, for $2, I'll grab it and take it home and use it, I guess. It is week 4, and I just pulled up in front of the Restore Rack thrift store. So let's go ahead and make one final trip in for the month and see if we can find anything. So I made my way back into the Restore thrift store for the 4th time and final time this month. I opened the door and headed right back to the back of the electronics section, where I was kind of wandering through it for a little bit, and that is when I ended up spotting on the top shelf this Turtle Beach headset. honestly, this is a really cheap and busted one for $5. I don't even think it's worth that, to be real with you. And then on the shelf next to it, I ended up finding like 2 of these VR headsets where you like slap your phone into them, which I thought was interesting, but not really anything I was interested in picking up, of course. So then I made my way back to the back where they've actually added a bunch of games here and there. I'd say a bunch, not really that many. And unfortunately, I didn't find anything there, so I turned and went around. And while I was standing there was just Jak 2 for the PlayStation 2 for $5 just sitting here, complete in the box, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then while I was done picking that up, I noticed up above that there was actually another game, and that ended up being Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. They wanted $5 for this one as well, and it is also complete, which is pretty awesome. So I ended up finding 2 games in the DVD section, which is kind of interesting considering they actually do have a game section at this thrift store. So I'm kind of surprised to have found these because I didn't think I would find anything when I was getting towards the end, but I ended up finding a Jak 2. This is the greatest hits for the PlayStation 2. For $5, I ended up grabbing this. I figured this is definitely well worth it, and I think for $5 I would grab it. And then also I ended up finding the Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock for the PlayStation 2. Both of these ended up being $5 each, which is totally awesome. These are games that are well worth picking up for the PlayStation 2. So when I found them, I ended up grabbing them for sure. So there you have it. This month ended up being pretty good. I ended up finding a mug, 2 PS3, PS2 games, 2 Xbox One games, and a stack of Xbox 360 and loose discs. That Left 4 Dead 2 is absolutely crazy, considering it is worth so much. So honestly, I ended up finding some good stuff, and this month was definitely good. But if you want to see me do this again somewhere else, comment down below and let me know. But I'm still shocked that I ended up finding Left 4 Dead 2 in this. Absolutely crazy to find that at a thrift store. But enough about this. I've got to get out of here. So go ahead and check that video out if you haven't already. I've got some discs I've got to go resurface. And then once I do that, I will test them as well. So that is absolutely a crazy find. But comment down below what you think was the best find of the month, but enough about that. I'm getting out of here, so check that video out if you haven't already.